Live from Brook House here in Nairobi, this is Agenda 5. Now, the preamble to the proposed constitution says, and I quote, "We, the people of Kenya, will exercise our sovereign right to determine the form of governance of our country and participate fully in the making of this constitution," end quote. While the country has heard lately from the political elite, from the clergy, but tonight, it is the time for the people of Kenya to be heard. Agenda 5 tonight hears from the people of Nairobi on the proposed draft and what they want the nation to look like after the referendum. Well, we are going to be hearing from across the country in a few weeks. Agenda 5 will be crisscrossing the country, going to a town near you to hear the views and gather the views of Kenyans. Welcome to Agenda 5. I'm your moderator, Beatrice Marshall. Welcome to the program. Ladies and gentlemen of the audience, I'd like to welcome you again to Agenda 5 and, of course, our audience on KTN across the country, syndicated on Radio Maisha, our listeners on Radio Maisha. Welcome to the program. At this point, let me introduce my panel for this evening. Welcome to the show. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the program. I'd like to introduce my guest for tonight, members of the panel. Abdullahi Abdi, Chairman of ZEDMAC. Welcome to Agenda 5 tonight.
Good evening.
Also, Atiango Chesoni, a member of the Committee of Experts. Welcome to the program tonight.
Thank you, and good evening.
And Peter Wayaki, an advocate. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
I'd like to start with you, Abdullahi. I'm going to give each of you, members of the panel, a minute, because tonight it's time for the people of Kenya to be heard on what they want on the proposed constitution. Abdullahi, I'm going to start with you in a minute. Give us your views on the proposed constitution. Tell Kenyans, in your opinion, why they should support or not support the proposed draft.
May I, first of all, Beatrice, say that this is a happy moment for the people of Kenya. I'm very much surprised to see there's a lot of stress and tension. Why am I saying that? Because for the last 20 years, Kenyans have been looking for a constitution. Now we have got a document that is being proposed as the future constitution of this country. You have summarized in your opening remarks. It starts with "we, the people of Kenya." So this is the time for us to dialogue, to discuss, to debate as citizens and compatriots of this country. It should not be a time for us to be stressed, hold tensions. And I thank the people who have started this process, because the debate initially was limited to the top echelon of the society. Now we are starting with Nairobi, and we go throughout the country, and I believe this is the beginning of a dialogue process where every Kenyan will be able to participate.
It's the beginning of a dialogue process where Kenyans will be able to participate. Peter, on the broader issues of the draft, do you think the people should support or not?
I think the people have a good chance to look at the document and decide whether or not to support, whether it meets their aspirations. The serious concerns that I personally and people I know, many Kenyans have serious concerns about. And one key issue is that although it's been touted as a document that expands human rights in a very definite sense, it diminishes a lot of the human rights of the people of Kenya. Certain things that were clearly broadly enjoyed under the current constitution would disappear in a flash if this document passes. And those are serious issues of concern. I trust you're going to be able to elucidate on that in due course.
On the issue of human rights, as you mentioned, that some of human rights issues might dissipate if the proposed draft is passed. What are some of those human rights that you're alluding to?
I think for me, the first and most fundamental one is life. Life is the most fundamental of all human rights. It's the one on which everything else is anchored. And this document has the effect of narrowing down the right to life as hitherto enjoyed by Kenyans, and in particular by people who are not born. I'm alluding to the issue of abortion, and not just that, but we are creating a position where, in fact, we are saying to Parliament, just go tell us any law that could take away life. and you'll be okay with it because you shall have given you license on the 4th of August.
All right, we'll come back to that point in a minute. But Atiango Chisoni, as a member of the committee of experts, what's your opinion on the views of the two gentlemen on the panel?
Thank you, Beatrice. I'd like to say thank you to both KTN and to the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights for inviting us all here and for providing a forum through which Kenyan people can engage in a dialogue and a discourse about the Constitution. I hope that people will look at this document holistically, that people will begin to understand that we're talking about a document that has 19 chapters, although only 18 of them are referred to as chapters, because the beginning is the preamble. That we will understand that this is a process we've been engaged in for some 20 years plus, that we are currently in a situation where we were teetering on the edge as a country, and that this offers us an opportunity to choose peacefully a way for us to begin to create a new future, and that there are long-term issues that have kept us in a situation of tension and conflict, and that the problems that led to us investing in a constitutional process were problems that have been there for a long time and that are not going to go away. They can't be wished away. They are related to the current constitution that we have.
Tonight we want to give members of the audience a chance to field their questions. We're going to start off with a question from Paul Otiende at the back there. Let's hear your question. And members of the audience, it's now time for you to field your questions, give us your suggestions. Please raise your hand and the mic will find you. Paul.
Good evening, viewers. My name is Paul Otiende, African Youth Trust Network member from Nairobi. I have two questions. One question which is in part A and B. My question is, let me start by saying that I support the 98% of the Constitution, only that I had a problem with only two issues, which is in the Agenda 4, they've only talked about the unemployment, which affects the youth, and we know that one brought a lot, is what catapulted the chaos that we had in this nation. They did not talk of underemployment, which has brought the slums within Nairobi. The underemployment is a case where you are employed for 8 hours only to earn 100, which cannot even afford a meal. Therefore, what I'm asking, is there any clause in this Constitution that addresses the underemployment in this nation, which has helped us to create a lot of slums in our beautiful city, Nairobi? Part B of my question is, we know that 15% of the total GDP will be devolved into the counties, the 47 counties. We have seen the history of what CDF has done, which was only 2.5%. I'm asking in this Constitution, are there checks and balances that will help us to manage the 15% of our GDP and make sure that we don't make our fatter cats more fat? Because we know if we let it unchecked, then it will make other people to be rich at the expense of more Kenyans. Thank you so much.
All right, our second question, please, at the back there. Could you take the mic? Thank you. Please be brief.
Thank you. My name is Jarso. I'm from Isiolo. I live in Nairobi. My question is just based on this article number 26, which the lawyer has just said.
A little bit louder, sir.
My question is related to this right to life. And I was just reading that when the lawyer said this is going to take away our right to life. It says very clearly, article number 26, and my understanding is that it is guaranteed in this Constitution, and the abortion is not permitted. I'm actually confused about this argument that this Constitution take away the right. Can maybe they clarify, how does this article number 26 take away our right to life? Thank you.
All right, we'll field that to our panel. 3 questions there having been asked on underemployment, on issues of poverty and CDF. Paul, perhaps you can articulate some of these issues because you talked about matters of human rights there earlier.
Shall I take that to begin with and then, of course, take the question on the right to life? The first thing is that actually it's the 15% of GDP going down to the counties, that's what it is. It's actually 2.5% less than what is currently going to the